Good evening. My name is Melissa, and I'm back here tonight to talk to you about a nice gap down that happened today. It was in GRP as in Paul, N as in Nancy. And I want to talk about a bunch of things with this trade today. First of all, a lot of people that I know didn't even get this today. Didn't even have this on their radar, their monitor to even look to play. It probably would have had a bigger move if more people had played it, but it had a beautiful setup, really beautiful, and I'm going to talk about it. But I just want to go over the fact that why did so many people miss this today? Okay, this is a great gap down. This is a great gap down, and let's explain why. This is a daily chart, okay? Let's make this a little bit bigger here. All this is happening, okay? Had earnings that came out today. What's going on here? Back July 27th, it had a nice big solid green bar. 650 is where it held. 638, 635 here, it bounced again. Nice other solid green bar. Nice other solid green bar. Three nice solid green bars here trying to support this price, okay? This is looking like it's trying to turn itself around here. It's trying to bottom out. Okay, that's what it looks like. If you didn't see today, pretend today wasn't there. Okay. Let's pretend today didn't happen. But you're seeing here, you say, oh, well, maybe this thing is bottoming out here. Okay. Remember, trying to pick bottoms is not a strategy. Okay. But if you didn't see what happened today, you'd say maybe this thing is trying to turn itself around. But what happened? As earnings, gaps down under all of this. There is no way that this is a buy. Absolutely not. No way, no how. This is not a buy. There is someone that I talked to today that got hurt today in this a little bit because he tried to buy it because he said, the fundamentals on this stock are good. I don't know if they are or not. Okay, that's not the point. The point is that you have to look at the price action and what's happening in the chart. And the problem was that a lot of people thought this was going to hold here. It was acting like it might. Okay, and when today happened, the decision was made that it wasn't. Gap on earnings, gap down under support. All of this stuff that was happening here was trying to do its job to hold it, and it couldn't do it. And look what happened today. So this is not a buy. This is absolutely a bearish gap, okay? And this is going to have some continuation now after today because it didn't even have that big of a move today, and a lot of people missed it. But this is a professional bearish gap, okay? And remember, do not pick bottoms. This is a perfect example of why you don't try to pick a bottom and you don't buy something in here because this isn't showing what it can do yet. This is trying, but it hasn't proven itself that it was going to turn around. It was trying and it failed. And today proved that it failed. Okay? If this thing had gapped up here, it would have proved that it was trying to turn itself around for real. Never did it. Didn't have any up gaps here. Okay? Now, why was this actually really, really good to play on the day if you knew what to look for? Let's go back and look at the 1 minute chart. And how we could have played this today. It actually was really nice. I'm going to show you some pre-market data here tonight. See this? The rally this morning couldn't have gone over there and shouldn't have gone over there, and it didn't go over there. Worst case scenario, we were looking for a rally into 607, but I really didn't want it to rally over 6. Right here. Okay. 6 is the whole number, right here. Worst case this far. Best case 6. And look what it did. 6 to the penny. We're shorting this. Your entry was just rallied up here, held 6, open here, retested, held, you're in. You can get in this. This is actually a valid trigger. Okay, this is the play that that I would just take. This is a trigger here, even though it didn't even do a sell setup yet. I would take some of my position right here because it did exactly what I wanted it to do. And that's why I gotta know. So what do you want it to do? Every morning I get up and I say, I like this. I go through the system. I have a 26-point rating system. I go through the system. I decide what to watch. I decide what I like the best. And then I write down, before it even opens, what I want it to do. And when it does what I want it to do, then I take it. This did exactly what I wanted it to do. I was even going to give it to $6.07. I really wanted, in a perfect world, 6, and it held 6. Now, when this does a sell setup right here, you add, okay? A little drop, went under the low of the day. Beautiful, perfect. Now, this was trading like a, like a snail. Okay, it dropped like 15 cents and everything else, but you could have taken a really nice size in here because the stop was so small. Okay, stop was 6 cents, and if you had taken it up around this price closer to 6, you would have even had a better price. Okay, so you take size, you take it. You could have booked some money in here. Actually, if you had taken a nice position here, you could have booked some money in that drop. But say you didn't want to do it. Say your target in the day was $5 in this base case scenario, or $5.50 first target. So you want to stick with it because it really didn't do it yet. Started, you really didn't get a push. So then you get this. You really don't want to see it go above here. You really can't go above there. It should not retest 6 again. That would not have been good, and it didn't do it. So it went up there. Look, let's just see. 593? 593 to the penny. Okay. More conviction. Really lots of conviction now. It held exactly where it was supposed to, just like it rallied exactly where it was supposed to. It held exactly where it was supposed to. You can add more to your position right there. Okay? You lower your stop. Stop is not over 6 anymore. Stop is here, and we're going into a reversal time. And how did this play out? Okay. If you added to this position here and got a nice little drop, you could have gotten out down here at 574, or you could have said, you know what? I really like this thing to $555. I really, really want to give it a chance. It hasn't done anything wrong. It's done everything right. It's taken a while. It's acting like a snail, but I'm going to stick with it because I have real conviction in this trade. So what happened here? You're in here. You got a drop. Could have booked a little, or you could have stayed in the position. Retest, add. Add whether or not you have the position from the morning still and didn't take any off, or add even if you took some off, because this retest gives you extra conviction and you're lowering your stop. When you get this drop, if you didn't take any off in this drop, take a little into this drop then. Take a little into this drop if you didn't take it here or here, just to make sure that you have some money booked on the day. Or take the whole thing if you can't stand waiting because it's such a snail. But if you really like this gap, which I did, and you really like the way it held, which I did, and you know it's not doing anything wrong, which it didn't, and you just stay in the position, and the stop really has to be over 93. And that's just where it has to be, okay? As it turned out, this had a beautiful move. And it finally had the nice drop we were waiting for all morning on this into lunchtime, okay? So the thing is that what happens with these, okay, sometimes they go hard in the morning. Sometimes they start to go and they do everything right and they're okay, but sometimes they don't go right away in the morning. I don't know why. Sometimes they don't. They take some time. You could have made money here very quickly this morning, just not as much as if you had waited, okay? But you still could have made money. Why? Because we get the best price here. We get the best price we can with the least amount of risk, and we are able to take size. So we can make nice money into this if we really need to be out by a certain time of the day. Or we can hold it, okay? Didn't do anything wrong. Now, I know that this bar might freak some people out. And this was that retest. It went up to 585. Okay, after it dropped down to 571 and then it bounced into the bottoming tail with a green head on the 15-minute. But look, it held there exactly. As soon as after it did that, it held it, and then that's when we got the drop. See, it didn't go hard in the morning right here, but it did later. This is not a bounce of sorts, okay? This is not like some of the gaps we've seen that move down hard in the morning, and then they bounce, and sometimes like they almost reverse themselves, and they bounce so hard. This isn't what this did, okay? This just is taking its time to go. This isn't anything scary here to be concerned about. 93 really needed to be the stop. And the thing is, when they don't go hard right away, and it's still a good gap, which this was, which you would have known if you took my class and knew the rating system and knew how to read that pre-market data like I do, you would have known that this was okay, stuck with the play, kept your conviction, knowing that even though the drop didn't happen right away, it was going to happen. Okay? You would have known that this really wasn't a bounce. It was just a little bit of a drop, and then it rallied. Okay? Because here's where it really went. I liked $5 for the target. It didn't do it. I bet you it does it tomorrow. You can look at this tomorrow, but I bet you more than anything that the stock sees $5 price tomorrow. Okay? So the thing is, this was a very nice trade. And you could have got a 6-cent stop and had a nice 50-cent move. That's a nice trade, because you never suffered in this trade. If you got in at that price where I showed you in that 1 minute, in the first couple minutes of the day, and it did exactly what we wanted it to do, and it held that $6 price, didn't go over the high of the day, and didn't go over the $6, even though we were giving it to 607, when it did that, you had extra conviction, and you took it, and you knew it was going to work, and you never suffered. Okay? People that took this under the low of the day at a price of 78, I think was the first trigger under the low of the day in the 1 minute, they actually were down money when this rally happened. They were suffering. They either killed the trade, took it off, or suffered being down their price if they had their stop over that at 93. Because they would have been down while it rallied into 85. Whereas if you took it up in here, you never suffered in the trade, okay? You had a great price. Even with this rally, you were up. You can't lose then, okay? So this was a nice trade today, and I hope you learned something from this today. And just remember that you need to stick with your plays and keep the conviction in them. And even if they don't go like we love them to go sometimes really hard in the morning, don't quit on them. Don't give up on them unless they do something wrong. This didn't do anything wrong. Okay, didn't do anything wrong, so don't give up on it. And that is the end of the story for tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you. And for more information, feel free to contact me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. Again, my email address is melissa@thestockswoosh.com, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks, and have a good night.